There, we're live. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi.
It's been a long time. It's nice to see you.
It's nice to see you too. We've had some travels and things, but yes. Welcome everybody. My name's Ann Rossley. I'm here with my dear friend Kyle Harvey. We sell real estate in downtown Chicago for Baird and Warner's Gold Coast office. We're at 737 North Michigan and we love real estate. We sell single family homes, condos, townhouses, co-ops, all in the downtown area. And we're here to talk real estate. So yes, lots has happened since we got together and we have lots to share, right? So we're going to talk today about stats. We're going to run through stats really quick, everybody, since we're toward the end of the month. Then we're going to jump into some new news about buyer compensation. From there, we're going to talk about duplexes, and then we've got great properties to show you. So without further ado, I'm going to remove our names from the top so you can see everything. And Lakefront communities is what we talk about, those neighborhoods from the South Loop up to Edgewater and just west. Single family homes first. 86 homes closed last month. 82 went under contract. 224 were for sale as of the first of the month, and that's 2.6 months worth of inventory. So it's definitely a seller's market still. All right. It varies based on price. If you are $1.2 million or less on a single family home, it's 1.8 months worth of inventory. However, the luxury over 2.5 is 10.5 months. Median sales price, 1.350. That translates to $380 per square foot. Condos. Now I'm going through this fast, but then I'm going to break it down after this. Okay.
Yeah,
836 closed, 1080 under contract, 2107 for sale, 2.6 months supply. And again, if you're under the median sales price, it's 2 months worth of inventory. If you're 1.3 million or above, it's 11.6 months worth of inventory. Median sales price, 410. And showings per listing last month in March was 4.4. Okay, this is rolling 12 months, shows that for the last 12 months, 9,800 condos have closed versus 12.2 versus the previous period versus 15.9 before that. So it's slower. Single family homes, 905 versus 1.2 versus 1.6, down about 25% versus the previous year each time. Okay, through February, and this is the latest, I checked this morning, there's nothing newer. Showing index 198.9, which is actually, I'm going to remove our logo there so you can see better. Actually even higher than the national average. This is okay. So now I'm going to start slowing down because this is where we're like up to the week. Interest rates went up. We had been at 6.69. Now we're at 7.1. And, everybody's saying, that's going to cause a big slowdown. It may in some segments of the market. We still have a strong spring market, folks. Zumper. We are number 12 in the nation. The median sales price, I don't know if you can read it, is $2,100 for a 1-bedroom and $2,660 for a 2-bedroom. All right. So this is attached for April only. Okay. So for attached, 1,501 new on the market, 1,065 under contract. So that's a good, strong number. Yeah. I mean, I'm used to seeing about half of this number. So we're
half this number, what do you mean half of this number? Half
meaning I'm used to seeing 750 out of 1,500 go under contract.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
It shows that there's a robust market.
So we're above average because we've got about 2/3 of the new listings are going under contract.
Yeah.
And then if you look at single family homes, 193 new versus 87 under contract versus 73 closed so far this month. So again, it's still a low number, but that has to do with the fact that there just aren't enough listings. So this is closed. And you can see the blue is, these are all week by week. Blue is this year, green is last year. So last week, 1,675 closed versus the same week previous year, 2219. It's a result of inventory. Under contract, see, we're ahead
Yeah.
of last year. So, I mean, that's kind of, I whipped through that, but bottom line is,
Well, we talked about the interest rates going up to over 7. And I think that's affecting more sellers than it is buyers right now, just because sellers often have a lower interest rate and they don't want to trade. So it becomes.
as opposed to first-time buyers who can wrap their head around it. Yeah.
I think buyers who are who don't own have wrapped their head around, whether they're first-time buyers or people who've rented or whatever, they can wrap their head around the interest rates. But I think it's sellers who are like, wait, I'm going to sell something, I'm going to buy something else, and I'm going to pay a whole lot more or pay the same for a whole lot less. It just, they're having a hard time wrapping their heads around it.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's right.
The New York Times has been doing a couple of articles, but it may have been whatever, of are boomers being served by staying in their existing homes because they're stuck in them because they think they don't want to have to take a higher interest rate or do something else or whatever. And instead, they're sort of trapped as they age, that they can't, they're stuck in these houses that they can't maintain. They are not tapping into their equity that would give them happier lives. All of this.
Well, yeah, right. Well, it was very similar, Kyle, to when Tom and I were thinking about selling. Because if you looked at the monthly payment for our home that we were in, versus what we would buy downtown, because we were, in Lakewood Balmoral, it was about the same. So then the question is, on a monthly basis, do we sell our home that we have equity in, that we have a cheap interest rate on, and come downtown, or do we stay where we are? But I think in general, people don't look deeper.
Yeah.
And that is maintenance costs, upcoming, structure or mechanical costs like furnaces and roofs and, tuck pointing or painting exterior windows, yeah. So, and then you've got things like landscaping. I used to spend, I don't even want to tell you how much I spent every year on mulch and flowers and the, mowing the lawn and all that stuff. So,
and as we get older, I mean, these boomers, their kids live somewhere else. It's not like they can help maintain the home.
Right.
We're sort of stuck as.
But I think we need to do a campaign. Maybe we should do a case studies, like a downsizing case study, like what the costs are and so forth. I mean, I went on a listing appointment last week, and it was the same thing. They have this big, beautiful home, 5,000 square feet. Neither of their sons lives in Chicago, and, they want to come downtown. And in their minds, it's like, do I do this now? But they,
So I'm helping out in a state right now, and I can only imagine how disastrous it would be if they were in a big house, because as we age, we do not get rid of things. We just put them where we can't see them.
Right.
And the amount of junk that has accumulated has taken, I got to change my photography appointment because the place isn't yet cleaned out. It's just, it's just it's really hard. So as boomers, and I'm at the tail end, probably people would say I'm Gen X. As we get older, we all want to be Gen X. Downsize, get rid of things, keep what you want, do the work now before you can't.
Right.
And you're trapped in this home and it's too hard for you to get out. So think about, plan the later years. Don't just let them overtake you. Anyway.
When I have found great help with, today, you know what? 20 years ago, senior move managers didn't exist. These organizers didn't exist. There are great resources out there for people to help. So
yes, and it costs something. It costs something for that.
Right. So get your family to help you or take your time doing it.
I'm going to tell you why organizers help, because there's no judgment. With family, it becomes, oh, I can't do this because I got to do my kids' soccer, and why?
This ticket from the St. Louis Arch from 1975 means so much.
Get rid of my 8th grade exam,
Yeah.
Good Lord. Yes, invest in that gift to yourself of somebody coming through and helping you clear out.
Exactly. All right. I'm going to move us along now. You ready?
Yeah.
Big news.
Big news, people. This is important. Ann and I have been talking to you about the change in agent compensation and the fact that starting in July, and maybe earlier, but certainly starting in mid-July, listings will not be allowed to include information on how much, if any, the seller will compensate the buyer's agent. Okay, that's going to be a big change. And one of the things that real estate agents and lenders have been talking about is how do we deal with this? Because we really do want buyers to have agents. They really help buyers understand the process, do it smoothly, not get into trouble. So they've been thinking, and just last week, FHA, Federal Housing Authority, Fannie Mae, and all the big lending agencies has said, okay, buyers can request a credit from the seller to pay the agent. And it does not mean that they can't request other closing credits. It's not going to be counted against the closing credit limit that you're about to see in the next slide. That this is an example. This is a cheat sheet that our lender, Key Mortgage, gives to us about. You vanished. Are you there?
I got rid of us. I thought it would make it bigger. It didn't.
Hands disappeared. This is a cheat sheet that tells us how much in credits can be asked for in crafting an offer from lenders. But those lending agencies, which frees up the banks, which frees up other lenders, to say you can also ask for some or all of the buyer agent's compensation. And one of the things that I've been saying to my sellers is you get to choose how much you offer, if anything, to buyers agents to help to market your property. You can offer 0, you can offer 1%, 2%, anything. You can offer a set amount. You're going to likely receive in your offer, even if you say 0 or some lesser number, a request that you pay more to the buyer's agent, because they'll have the buyer will have a contract with the buyer's agent to pay a set amount. So I just warned them that's coming, and now it's true. It will be coming because now it's allowed by lenders. What's your take on this, Ann?
No, I'm not seeing with my sellers that they're objecting to offering compensation. And there are ways, we won't be able to put it in the MLS, but there are ways around that. meaning we can offer a seller concession within the listing without calling it a compensation offer. So, I was just thinking in my head as you were talking, we should probably do a report next time about what we see in the MLS for broker compensation for buyers, just to let our viewers know. I don't see an appreciable change right now.
I went through because I had a seller ask me that question. What's going on in my market? So I went into that very specific market, and it was mostly 2 to 2.5%. There was 1 or 2 threes, and there was 1 or 2 lower than twos, but there were no zeros.
Yeah.
In this market. And so my seller said, well, no, I'll stick with, I don't want to be an outlier.
Exactly right. Yes.
But if there were several, my seller would have considered it.
Yeah, it's going to happen at some point, but it's not yet. So we've been talking a while about duplexes and how they've really become popular. Like 10 years ago, people weren't so into duplex downs. And I had buyers that would say, nah, I don't really care about duplex downs. And what I'm talking about is these are buildings that have been built throughout the Chicagoland, either a 3-flat or a 6-unit building like you see on the screen here, where the first floor is actually the first floor in the lower level, the second floor is a simplex, and the third floor is a duplex up. And that's a very common housing type here in Chicago. So what I wanted to talk about is the fact that these used to be so unappreciated that they were cheap. Now they're expensive. And I think part of that was COVID. So in Lincoln Park in the last year, or actually since the last year, there have been 73 units that closed with a median sales price of $950. 1 year before that, just within a year, the median price was $854. And then I did a quick research at 5 this morning because I really wanted to tease this out. Look at this. In 2007, 562. But here's the interesting part, with a market time of 83 days. Then in 2014, 595, but an appreciably less market time of 34 days. And in the last 12 months, like rolling up to now, 886. Now, this is Lakeview. Pardon me for not saying that earlier. This is the Lakeview market. That's why the numbers don't match previous screens. 886, 17 market days on market.
I had a duplex down in 2020 that nobody wanted. It was a one. It was meticulously maintained, right in the best neighborhood. Just a fantastic.
It was your Old Town, right?
It was in Old Town.
Yeah.
And I think people were wanting houses because it was COVID. They were like, I want a house. And a duplex town feels like a house or a townhouse, but it's not. It's attached living. And had we gone on the market this year, it would have sold for a whole lot more.
Much more quickly.
So much more quickly.
Right.
And so first of all, it took us 8 months to sell. But it would have sold much more quickly. It would have sold for a much higher price. I get Top Agent Network alerts looking for a duplex down, because these are often young families, and to climb the stairs with a stroller is impossible.
Right.
So they all want the duplex down where they can it's only one short flight of stairs to the half floor up.
Right.
Or
they have a dog, and taking a dog up 3 flights isn't really fun. So, So duplex downs have gotten very popular. I remember listing a duplex down on Halstead 3 years ago for over $1 million. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how long am I going to be stuck with this? And it sold, within 3 months. But yeah, that would be sold in a hot second right now. So.
Right now, it would. If you put it on private, it would sell.
Right. And but don't you think part of it is because of the comparison to a single family home too?
I think
you can't touch. just in Lincoln Park.
There's
Yeah,
so
you can't.
single family homes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. But it gives you 3 or 4 bedrooms and 2 public areas, right? Plus outdoor space.
Yeah, no, and it gives you outdoor space, and there's usually parking, and
Yeah.
and it's got low. It doesn't have no HOA, but it has a very low HOA.
Right.
This also, though, you should really treat it like a house. Set aside money each month into a fund because there will be repairs and they're not building reserves. So you have to build your own reserve because the 3 people who own it, or 6, who own in the building will have to cough up the full amount of whatever repairs are necessary.
Right. Exactly. More good advice from Kyle, everybody. Make note of that. Okay, so now let's talk about properties. You've got some things to show us, right?
You have just pretty things. So, okay, good. So can you pop up the February 19 properties? February 9? It's not February 9.
This?
April 22. But I just reused. Yes, thank you. So now I found 2 properties that look sort of the same. This is 1442 West Berteau Avenue. Is this still in sort of the Buena Park? What would you call this neighborhood?
No, I call it Graceland West.
That's what they called it. But you know, it seems sort of east for Graceland West, but I get a little.
Well, it's this weird little pocket. You're right, because
It's a weird.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's north of Irving Park, but it's just so
So this is on an 82 by 125 foot lot.
82.
Yeah.
Wow.
What
So
year?
that's more than 3 lots.
Yeah. Yes, it is 3 and change. What do you think?
Wow.
When do you think this house was built? It's 7,000 square feet.
Well, the exterior makes it look like it was probably built, I would say, 2012.
See, I got fooled that this was an old house. It was made look fresh. It was 2010. See, Anne is much more savvy. I look at it, I'm like, oh, it looks like it's so pretty. Anyway, but then you
Wow.
go to the interior. Very modern, beautiful interior. This is all, it's sort of a great room. And you know, everything's modern. So this is for almost $5 million. It has 4-car parking. I thought this was a pretty bathroom. I don't normally decide do bathrooms, but I'm a little alarmed by the bunny. What's the bunny?
My eye was drawn immediately to that as well.
I was just like, I want somebody to weigh in on the bunny because it seems to be a monocle with a chain hanging from the bunny's eye. I just would like.
Oh, right. That's a little bit difficult to see in this size screen, but I see it now. Yeah.
Pretty bedroom with fireplaces. There are 3 fireplaces in this house.
Oh, lovely photograph. I love that.
I do too. It's a beautiful staircase. And then the basement bar, people. This is a Chicago home.
It's a Chicago home. But you know what, too? You can tell it was before 2020 because your cabinets are not white or gray.
No, but I sort of think it looks much better to have a color. I'm a little disappointed by the carpet, but we can discuss that later.
Yeah.
And then a beautiful rooftop deck.
Uh-huh.
And then look at that card.
That's very fun.
Boy children. No, maybe a girl. The next Caitlin Clark. Here's we're not going to roll around but this is 7.
But you can see it's a wider than typical house.
It is a wider than typical house with a lot of outdoor space.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what have you got? My next one is 2711 West Logan. Okay, what year do you think this was built?
That one was built in, I'm going to say 1898.
Very close, 1903. See, I thought, oh, how fun. They're the same. They don't tell us the size. They don't tell me how many square feet. But
they don't?
On a large lot. Not quite as large, but 62 by 166.
Oh, nice and deep. Good.
However, it seems as though the yard is in the front. So, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I didn't show pictures of the yard, but look at how beautifully they've updated this. This is on the market for just under 4. So you'd save $1 million choosing this. So this is in Logan's, obviously people, Logan Square on beautiful Logan Boulevard. I think this is just as pretty. I mean,
And Logan is hot, hot, hot. Look at that back. Oh, is that the end of the yard though?
I think it must be.
Yeah, okay.
But that's still a lovely place to have breakfast in the summer.
Of course,
You
yeah.
know how pretty that bedroom is.
Okay, it's lovely inside. It breaks my heart a little bit that it's this beautiful gray stone and there's no vintage.
It lives on, man. It lives on. It wasn't torn down in a big.
Okay.
And then
is it a sock monkey there on their couch?
I think it's not quite a sock monkey, but it is a monkey. And here's the thing. People, where's the bar?
Yeah, I know. They're missing the boat.
They're missing the boat. They could have had a bar.
Yeah.
Terrace, raised patio, and then the front yard. Okay. Then the next one, people, just because we have to, is 927 West Fullerton. So this is one of the, what do we call it? You call it
McCormick.
You call it a
McCormick. It's a McCormick. I can't tell exactly, but it's going to be on the south side of Fullerton, just west of Halstead. So
in those, I call them the seminary row houses. But
yeah, right, because it was McCormick Theological Seminary row houses. Yes.
So this is a 22 by 105 foot lot, and 20. But it looks wider than that, but it's not. So we're going inside. So this is on the market for just under $1 million, and people come along for the ride. It has 4,000 square feet. It has been in the same family for the last 50 years.
Oh, I love those. Okay.
55 years, but 50 maybe.
Look at that. Vintage charm. That's what I'm talking about.
How much? This is the kitchen.
Now, I don't know if I call that vintage charm, but yeah, this needs some work.
No, it needs everything.
Question.
That's the backyard. So they say a slightly smaller but fully rehabbed neighbor was sold in August 22 for $1.6 million. This is not fully rehabbed. This is going
okay, so here are my comments.
Yes.
Yeah, this is not fully rehabbed. You're going to do minimum 500, but I'd guess more like 750,000 in rehab on this one.
No, you're going to do $1 million, because my guess is
you don't think much is salvageable. It's going to need rewiring, plumbing.
There may be structural
kitchen.
They're going to need to do tuck pointing. They're going to need to do everything to this house. This house is in appalling condition. Windows. No. Look at it. I'm not being mean. I'm not being
well, but we don't know if the 1.6 had everything done to it, because
it says fully rehabbed.
Yeah, that doesn't mean it's had windows though. But no. To your point, it's interesting. There are a lot of these that I've been in where they haven't really done a full rehab. They try to maintain the historic nature and they cobble together a rehab. You know what I'm saying? So
you're right.
Now the other thing about this though, they don't have attached parking.
No.
So you're parking your car outside.
One exterior spot in the lot for the neighborhood.
Right.
Yeah, no, it is tricky.
How many buyers do you have for 1 to 1.6?
No, more than that, people, more than that. And I didn't show you the picture.
Yeah.
The World Book up there. I think those may be World Books up at the top, or Britannica.
Britannica, yeah.
It is 6 bedrooms, 1 and 1/2 baths.
Ooh.
I'm telling you,
$1
million, because they have to put in bathrooms.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
This is not. This is
untouched.
We're gonna watch this, people. But I
want to follow this property. I want to follow this one, and I think you had another one I wanted to follow too. But yeah.
Let's watch.
Follow this one
because this deserves a new life. It deserves care, but unfortunately, at this price, the family that's going to want to have this house can't afford it. If you see what I mean. This is
Yeah.
not a rich person. No rich person is going to move into this house.
In its current condition.
No one wants to live smack on Fullerton, right next to an alley and right by the L stop. I mean, no one. This is not fancy rich people. Look at me. No, this is somebody who cares about the neighborhood, who's really comfortable, and who has a nice income but is not rich. So that is going to take a significant price drop.
Yeah.
Very interesting to see where this sells.
My memory of these two is their stairs are narrow and tall in these. They're not up to today's code. So
it's
yeah,
everything, people, everything.
Oh boy. Somebody come love this house.
Love this.
A low ball offer and
take it off this estate's hands.
All right. Is that all you've got for us today?
Isn't that enough?
Yeah, I don't have anything except to tell you that, yeah, buyers are out there. There was a time when nobody was interested in my 940 Castlewood. I have vultures circling on that property right now.
Well, it's a great property and
to do rehab, and we're still at the same price. So it's a fascinating situation. I just want to say, I'm sorry, Dennis Rodkin, you just did a whole thing about prices plummeting, and prices in Chicago are not plummeting, folks. There are certain segments of the market that are slower than others, and that's futzing with the median sales price, right, Kyle? Don't you agree?
But it's still up. The median sales price is still up.
But he did a headline recently about prices plunging.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. So, folks, if you really want to know the straight scoop on what's happening in your marketplace, please come to us. Don't pay attention to the headlines because statistics lie, right?
And headlines are written so that you look at the article. And sometimes when you read the article, you're like, oh.
It's not as bad once you're reading it, but yes, exactly right. So that's it. So we will be back with you next week on another Monday Morning Coffee with Kyle and Ann. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels and like us on Facebook. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you.